One of our top stories this morning, Cliven Bundy, the Nevada rancher now famous for a standoff with the Bureau of Land Management in 2014, was released from prison last week. And one of his very first public appearances will be in northwest Montana. Bundy's among several guests invited to speak at an event put on by the Coalition of Western Property Owners, or COWPO. COWPO co-chair Roxana Ryan explains the purpose of the event.
What we see is the opportunity to bring to light the need for a revival among the American people for freedom and for property. We feel that property is being taken from us, especially here in the West, by agencies of the federal government, the BLM, the U.S. Forestry, the EPA, and the list goes on.
Montana State Senator Jennifer Fielder will also speak at the event. Fielder says she's drafting a resolution she hopes will spur an investigation into how the federal government has interacted with property owners in a number of recent cases.
I've been doing a lot of homework on what happened to the Hammonds and what led up to these very heavy-handed charges being levied against them. And I am going to be calling for a full and complete investigation of the government conduct related to the Hammond ranching family, the Bundy ranching family, and the Malheur protesters.
The COWPO speeches will begin at 5 p.m. at the old Paradise School gym. Shauna Cox, who was at the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge standoff, will also speak at the event, as will former Burns, Oregon Fire Chief Chris Briels, who stepped down from his position to side with the Bundy family during the occupation protest at the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. The victim in Wednesday afternoon's fatal shooting has been identified. Lake County Sheriff Don Bell has details.
On January 17th, 2018, at about 15:35 hours, shooting was reported in Arlee on Sanders Street. Sheriff deputies, tribal police, and EMS responded. Upon arrival, it was determined that 49-year-old Leonard L. Peak, Jr. of Arlee had died as a result of a gunshot wound.
Bell said the man who was taken into custody was released shortly afterwards.
The person who fired the fatal shot was taken into custody, but was released after questioning, and no charges have been filed at this time. Other witnesses have been interviewed, and further investigation is ongoing. There's no threat to the community or neighborhood related to this incident, and no other details will be released at this time.
Peak's body was transported to the Montana State Crime Lab here in Missoula for an autopsy. Montana's budget director says the state will lose about $20 million in state general fund revenues during the 2019 biennium because of federal tax reform. The Great Falls Tribune reports the figures unveiled yesterday are far off from previous figures that estimated Montana would lose between $128 million and $76 million. Budget Director Dan Villip said the number means a special session to mend budget woes will likely not need to happen. He says there's now a predicted ending fund balance of $123 million for fiscal year 2019. Villa said there was some relief in having the smaller figure. He says the last thing Montana residents wanted was another special session. James Wages appeared in Missoula Justice Court yesterday, charged with 7 counts of felony car theft, along with the theft of 19 scratch-off lottery tickets at gunpoint. Deputy Missoula County Attorney Mark Handelman spoke for the state.
The state's requesting bail be set amount of $50,000 in this matter. That was the warrant amount. We're requesting that bail remain in the same amount for the reason that these charges stem from the defendant using what appeared to be a gun to take money from a casino attendant. He also stole numerous cars from various businesses and admitted to all of it.
Handelman mentioned Wages' extensive criminal history to Judge Holloway.
The defendant is on probation and has numerous warrants related to his probation in the past. Given his propensity to, or failure to abide by probation, we do consider him a flight risk and a risk to the community. Therefore, are requesting that $50,000 bail. Wages
was also arrested for stealing a valuable truck in Ravalli County back in August and was placed on probation at that time. Judge Holloway set bail at $50,000 in addition to a no-bond warrant sent from another case. Wages will appear in Justice Court again February 3rd. Advocacy organizations have condemned the Bighorn County Attorney's decision to crack down on drug use among pregnant women. The Billings Gazette reports the American Civil Liberties Union of Montana, the ACLU, and 8 other healthcare, human rights, and women's organizations publicly condemned Attorney Jay Harris's plan earlier this week. Harris said his office will begin, quote, an immediate crackdown, end quote, on pregnant women using drugs or alcohol, starting with a restraining order. If a woman is found to have violated the restraining order, Harris's office said it will seek jail time. Harris also called on community members to alert the Bighorn County Sheriff's Office of instances in which pregnant women are using drugs or alcohol. The advocacy organization says the plan is cruel and will foster a climate of anxiety. On Sunday, Missoula police arrested John Osterman for allegedly assaulting another man near a storefront on East Broadway. Police are now hoping to speak with anyone who may have seen the crime. A police public information officer, Travis Wells, explains.
The suspect had accused the victim of actually stepping on some items that he had splayed out on a sidewalk in front of him that he may have been offering for sale. The accusation led to an argument and a very quick escalation to violence. The suspect then threw the male victim down on the ground and began to kick him.
According to Welsh, any witnesses to the crime has to call Police Detective Guy Baker.
Detective Guy Baker is seeking any persons that may have witnessed the assault take place. He'd like to speak with those people if they're willing to call in. And they can reach him by calling area code 406-239-3217.
The victim of the crime was admitted to the hospital as a result of the attack. Welsh says both males involved are in their 50s. Again, anyone with information about this incident has to contact Detective Guy Baker at 239-3217. And the U.S. Department of Justice filed a brief with the Montana Supreme Court in support of 3 families that sued when the state excluded students at faith-based schools from a scholarship program funded by donations that could be offset by state tax credits. The brief filed yesterday argues excluding such students from receiving scholarships through the Montana School Choice Program discriminates against them based on their religious beliefs. In writing rules for the program created in 2015, the Department of Revenue said faith-based schools could not be considered, quote, qualified education providers, end quote, and the state constitution does not allow appropriations to such schools. District Judge Heidi Ulbrecht ruled in May the program is funded through tax credits, not appropriations. The state appealed Ulbrecht's decision to the Montana Supreme Court. Our News Talk time now is 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station. Scattered snow and ice with snow showers off and on throughout the day today will impact travel through the Missoula Valley. Highs will be in the mid-30s. Tonight we'll drop back into the 20s. We'll see a little lingering snow on Saturday. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.